Blessings, everybody. We Teri until he comes homestead. So this is day 14. We started the starter December 1st, and so it is December 14th, and so now it is the fun part. So here's what my starter is looking like, and yes, I had to get a bigger jar because it almost overflowed. So I went to a bigger jar. I'm going to go to an even bigger jar after this. So yeah, you might have to switch jars. I have a link down below where you can order your sourdough starter jars, but I also put one of these temperature stickers on there so I'll know, what temperature is at, because I've been leaving it out. I didn't even put it in my sourdough home box. So we're going to discard. Now this time I'm going to discard a half a cup. Okay, but I'm going to put a half a cup back because you're going to need at least a cup of starter to make bread. Okay, at least a cup, no less than that. So I'm just going to pour it in here. All right, we got a half a cup of starter. All right, let's clean that out. And you know what I forgot? My water. Let me go get my water. Okay, I got my water, and this is filter water out of the Berkey. So I'm gonna put a whole half a cup in here. All right, and we're gonna stir it up a little bit before I add the flour. And I know that I did this starter out of pizza flour. I'm gonna still see if I can make bread out of the pizza flour. And I'm gonna also do some pizza dough too off to the side. So yeah, I'll be doing pizza dough and bread. And if you want to know how to make pizza dough, I do have a video. I'll link it in the description on how to do pizza dough. Because you can make pizza dough with any type of starter. It doesn't matter. Just like you can pretty much make bread from any type of sourdough starter. So we're going to see if the pizza flour works well. All right, so now we're going to get my half cup of flour. And I'm getting low. So let me try to ease this in here without wasting none. And I always add just a tad bit more. All right. Now, let's give it a stir. Yes, I'm definitely going to transfer to a bigger jar because I normally make 2 loaves. Because my family go through it. We can go through 2 loaves like within a week and a half. Especially my daughter, she's always making her peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So, and I love making toast. Coming up soon, I will be doing a video on how to make your own butter. I've been doing it for quite a while now. And ain't nothing like having some sourdough bread that you made yourself and then some homemade butter to spread right on top. And I'm also going to be making grape jelly too. It's going to be a busy kitchen day today. I'll try to record some of that. Okay, this is at a pretty good consistency. There is some chunks. Let me try to knock some of those chunks out. It's at a really good consistency. So I'm gonna let this sit for maybe about 3 hours. And what I might do just to speed up the process is put it in my sourdough home box and cut the temperature up so it'll go a little bit faster. Let me get these sides. Yeah, this might overflow, so I'm going to have to keep an eye out on it. That's why I wish the sourdough home box had a little window where you can look and see. Okay, so that is that. So we have discarded. I did a half a cup this time because I'm going to need a full cup of starter. And I think this is 2 cups. This is like 2 cups of starter. So I'm making pizza dough too. So I'm going to need a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and put my little plastic cap on here. So I'm going to set my rubber band level. Okay. All right, I got my rubber band level there. So I'm going to let this sit until I see it reach up to its peak. You want it to at least double. I mean, you can go close to not double, but you want it at its peak when it's active. If you see it rise, okay, that's when you're going to be ready to use it. I will have the recipe to make bread in the description box, so if you don't want to follow along with the video, you can look in the description and get the recipe for yourself. Like I said, I usually do 2 loaves, so what I'm going to do is probably cut that in half, or if I do the 2 loaves, I will tell you what you need to put in, but I will be doing something different because I'm be doing 2 loaves. Okay, so we're gonna let this sit. I'm gonna put it in my sourdough home box right here. I'm gonna take good old Esther out, and I'm gonna feed her, and then I'm gonna put, I haven't named this one yet. I'm gonna put it in the sourdough home box, and I'm gonna cut the temperature up to, I'll say 78 degrees. And so I'm gonna give that about an hour, and then I'll check on it. And then the next clip, we're gonna be making bread, all right? So stay tuned. All right, welcome back everyone. And as you can see, my sourdough starter has pretty much overflowed, but we're going to use that. So what you would need to do bread is you're going to need a kitchen scale because we measure by grams. This is going to make 1 loaf. I normally make 2, but I'm just going to do 1 loaf because I'm using a pizza starter. And I was going to do the pizza dough, which I am, but in the background after I do this. But you can use any starter to make bread. So you're going to need a scale. And if you have a mixer, KitchenAid, you're going to need that. Although you can do it by hand, but it'll be a little more time consuming. So I'm going to use my KitchenAid. So first off, I have all my stuff already let me show you. I already have it like set up already. And so we're going to go by that, okay? But I'll have it on the screen what you would need. So I'm going to get my KitchenAid bowl here. First off, you're going to need about 214 grams of warm water. This has gotten a little bit cold, but that's okay. You want to use warm water or room temperature water. And then you're going to go with 200 grams of starter. Scale on here, zero it out. And so now I'm going to pour in 200 grams. And as you can see, it busted through. So I'm going to try to use this. We're going to go to 200 grams. Close, 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 close. 90. Okay, it went a little bit over 205. It's okay if you go over a little bit, it's fine. So look at all of this in there. I'm going to try to squeeze this right back in there. So you're going to take a fork or a dough whisker or any type of whisker. I have this whisker here. I'm going to take it off the scale for a moment. And you're going to mix that water and starter together until it's fully incorporated together. So that's pretty much all I needed the scale for. You will need the scale to do your other measurements if you want to do it as we go, or if you can already pre-measure it. I will have the measurements and everything in the description box. So once you have that mixed up, you're now going to add your honey and your oil. So you're going to do 1.5 tablespoons of oil and 1.5 tablespoons of oil. And I put them in the same jar so I won't have a lot of honey like sticking to the jar, so, or to the bowl. So I mixed it together. So this is 1.5 of oil, 1.5 of honey. Okay. And that's tablespoons. So if you wanted to do 2 loaves, you would just double what you're doing here. Okay, and then give that a mix. Okay, so now you're gonna add your flour. So this is 350 grams of bread flour. You can use whatever flour you would like. I'm using King Arthur's bread flour. So 350 grams, which I already have pre-measured. Pour that in. And then we're gonna put it on the KitchenAid. We're not gonna add the salt yet. That's gonna come the next step. So you just wanna put your salt to the side. You're gonna grab your KitchenAid and put it on. My KitchenAid here. So I'm going to put it on. And you want to use a dough hook. So I'm gonna put this on. And now you're just gonna put this to mix all the ingredients together. So you're just gonna turn it on pretty low, just enough to combine all the ingredients together. You can do this with your hands as well. If you have a bowl scraper, you can kind of get all the flour that's kind of sticking to the sides to make it combine a little bit easier. And once you see that your dough has no more dry spots, we're going to stop it. When I see that it's fully incorporated, we're going to stop it. Get all the extra flour off the sides. All right, so we're gonna stop it right there. So now we're gonna let this rest, okay? So we're gonna take our dough hook off so you can drop it down. Or if you have the tilt head, you tilt it up. And we're going to cover it. Use a shower cap or whatever you have, a tea towel, you can put over it too. So we're gonna let this sit for about 30 minutes, okay? We're gonna let this rest, and it's called the autolyse process. So you're gonna let this rest for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and add the salt and let it mix a little bit more, all right? So see ya in 30 minutes. All right, so we are back. It has been 30 minutes. We let that rest, so we're gonna pull this off. We're gonna add our dough hook back on, and now we're gonna add our salt, and we're gonna let this mix for about 14 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna then let that mix up for about 14 minutes. All right, time is up. And if you're wondering the setting on my mixer, I had it on a 2. As you can see, you should have a little ball. I'm gonna oil my hands a little bit so the dough won't stick to me. So we're gonna take the dough hook off. I'm gonna take this bowl off, and I'm gonna push my mixer out the way. There we go. All right, so the next step is we're gonna take this out. So I'm gonna wipe my counter off, get all the excess flour and everything off. All right, and then I'm just gonna spray it with some oil so it don't stick. Some people use flour, I use oil. I don't really wanna add more flour to my dough, so that's why I use oil. And so what you wanna have handy is a separate bowl or you can use the same bowl that you have your dough in. I'm going to use a separate bowl and then something to cover it. And you want to spray your bowl. Make sure it is oiled so it won't stick. All right. Take my dough out. Take my dough hook out first. Take my dough hook out. And I'm gonna take, and while yours was mixing, if you seen that it was really like not coming into a ball like you see mine, you can add a little bit more flour if you need to, but just go a little bit at a time. Okay, let's get all of that out. Bowl pretty much clean. All right, so now we're just gonna kind of stretch it just a little bit into a ball. That's it. Just kind of make sure oil gets on it. Just kind of fold it on itself a couple of times. You're just doing a little bit more of the kneading, but by hand. Get it into a smooth ball. And then what you're gonna do is place it in your oiled bowl and you're gonna cover it. Now this is the waiting time. You're gonna let this rest for 4 to 6 hours. So 4 to 6 hours. That's why I say you want to start in the morning. That way you will be baking by possibly evening time. So you're going to let this set for 4 to 6 hours. Let it at least double in rising. Sometimes it's better to put it in a glass bowl so you can see it rising. But because I've done it for so long, I could see when it doubles. So yeah, so here it is here. But you guys see, this is same day bread if you start in the morning, or if you like to do your stuff late night, you'll be up in the wee hours of the night. So be back in 4 to 6 hours. Welcome back. So I took the quick way and I have it in my Broad & Taylor proofing box. And so as you can see, remember how it was last time? And it has pretty much doubled in size. So it's done. All right, welcome back. And as you can see from the previous clip, my bread is done, and look, it even got a bubble on it, 2 bubbles. So I have oil on my counter because I just finished doing my pizza dough. Remember, link is in the description box if you want to see how you can make pizza dough. So I have a 5x9, I believe, 5x9 loaf pan here. And so I'm gonna spray it, that way it'll easily come off. And if you don't have one of these sprayers, link will be in the description box. So we're gonna oil that, a little bit of oil on my hands, and now we're gonna just slide this on out. Let's see if it's gonna come out easily. Yep, and it should come out pretty clean. All right, so we're just gonna flatten it out. And you should have, they call it the window pane. Let's see if we got a window pane. I think so. And window pane is when you can see through it. And I can see my hand through it. My fingers. All right, so we got window pane status. That's what you want. So we're gonna spread it out. And now we're gonna fold one side over. And then fold the other side over. And now we're gonna roll it, a tight roll, as tight as you can get it. Try to pop out any air bubbles, because if you have lots and lots of air bubbles, there will be holes in your bread, okay? So we're just gonna try to get all the air bubbles out, kind of pop them. We're just gonna roll it. Okay, create a little bit of tension. Okay, get it into a nice little loaf there. Pat to get those air bubbles. All right, bring your loaf pan over. And you're going to first flip it over and make sure any little openings, you want to close them up. Okay. Now we're going to put it in our loaf pan, oiled loaf pan, and I'm going to kind of flatten it down a little bit. All right, so now it has to rest for 1 to 2 hours. I'm gonna cheat again just for the sake of the video. And I'm going to put this back in my Rod & Taylor bread box. I'm going to set for a second rise. And then you'll be ready to put it in the oven. When you feel like your loaf is just about done rising, you want to preheat your oven to 355 degrees. And you're going to bake the bread for a total of 35 minutes. And look at that. So I did kind of cheat by using this proofing box. It might have took a little bit longer because it's not that warm in here. So the proofing box helps. So if you're interested in the Rod & Taylor proofing box, I'll have the link down below. So we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven. Remember to have your oven preheated at 355. And we're going to do it for 35 minutes. I would split the top, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. You can't, let me see, maybe I will split it. So I have a lame, whatever you call it, I don't know. So I'm gonna do a few cuts like this. You can use a regular razor blade. This just gives it a little more to open up. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the oven. Try to do it one hand. Can I do it? I can. Put it in the oven here. Try not to burn myself. All right. And we're going to put the timer on for 35 minutes. All right. See you when it's done. All right, so time is up. So if you have a thermometer, I have one that's just for bread. I'll have the link in the description if you're interested. To make sure if your bread is done, you want to check the temp. Let me open up just a small door. And it should be between 190 to 200. So let's pull it out. And so the internal temperature should be between 190 and 200. So I have this here. I'm just gonna cut it on and poke it. It looks really good. And we are at 200, so it is done. You want to make sure you stick it down and slowly pull it up to where it's in the middle. And it's set at 200. We're beyond 200, so it is ready. So I'm going to close that and bring it over here. Let's switch the view here. So it is done. It looks really, really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some butter on top. So we're gonna, oh, I'm low in butter. So you know what that means. Next video, we'll be making butter. So I'm gonna get the rest of this out of here, and I'm just gonna roll the top with this homemade butter. And making butter is super, super easy. So if you're interested, just stay tuned to the channel. Just give it a nice coating over the top. It's gonna make the crust on top a little softer. So we gotta let this cool all the way down. All the way down. You don't want to cut into it while it's warm because it's still kind of cooking, still kind of cooking. So you want to wait until it's all the way cooled down. So pretty much it's nighttime now, so I'm just going to cover this up, and then in the morning it'll be ready to cut open. But I'm low in butter, so I'll definitely be making more butter soon. All right, it's been about a minute, so now you let it sit in the pan for about a minute because you don't want the bread to stick to the pan. Hopefully you coated it with oil real good. And so you want to transfer it over to a metal cooling rack. And so I have one here. And so we're gonna it should slide right on out. It should slide right on out. Yeah, there we go. All right. Woo, it's hot. But look at that. That looks really, really good. Look at that. You see the bottom really, really good. It did kind of rip a little bit right here. So I probably didn't spray enough oil on that side, but that's okay. It didn't do too much damage, but look at that. Your first sourdough loaf. Congratulations. So, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and press the thumbs up button. Comment down below, how did yours turn out? If yours did not come out like mine did, don't fret. Just try it again. Let me tell you, when I first started sourdough, I had hard sourdough, like hard as a rock, very dense. So it took time. It takes practice, okay? So just keep going and don't give up. And remember, as long as you're feeding your sourdough, you're going to have the starter till you just don't want to do it anymore. And now brings me to another thing. With your sourdough, if you have too much and you're not going to be making bread soon, there's a thing called discard. Remember, we was discarding from day 4 through day 14. Well, that discard you could not use because we were just getting established. But now you could take discard out and put it in a whole separate jar and keep it in your refrigerator, because there is some awesome recipes that you can do with sourdough discard. I mean, you can do pumpkin bread, cookies, lemon loaf, what else? Carrot cake, all kind of stuff that I have made. Donuts. It can be from the actual active starter or the discard. So I have a separate jar that I keep. Her name is Vashti. And I put all the discard in that jar to where you can do waffles and pancakes and all that kind of stuff. So whenever I have a recipe that needs discard, I just go to my discard jar. So, and that can keep too in your refrigerator for quite a long time. So also stay tuned for the upcoming video where I have to make more butter. All right, so until next time, I will see you guys. Bye. Welcome everybody. We Teri, Sister Marcelle here. So the house is asleep. I'm the only one up because I'm on my way to my mom's house. So I wanted to show you guys the bread. If you was following along with me, let me know how your bread turned out. So I stored it up in here last night before I went to bed. I just wanted to give you guys like how soft it is. Look how soft that is. Look how soft. And it just boop. So I got my slicer here. The link will be in the description. And I don't like my bread too thin. And nobody never really likes the end piece, but I do. So we're gonna cut a slice. You just do this. And look. There's a bread. With some butter on it. Remember I told you guys I'm low on butter. So stay tuned to make your own butter video. And so here's what it looks like inside. Look at that. It's soft. Now this is real bread. It'll only last maybe 5 days. But this is real bread. So I just wanted to show you guys that you all have a blessed day. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Shalom.